If you have ink sprays and stains collecting dust sitting on your shelf, time to pull them off and have some fun. They're really not as scary as you think. Every technique video is narrated live while I'm doing the technique, so you're getting a real-time view of how the whole process works. Pull out the supplies I'm using and create right along with me, pausing as you need. Before we get started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it. Ink sprays are one of those things that you buy because you think they look so cool, but once you get them in your hands, you're like, I don't know what to do with these. So in this video, we're going to grab our ink sprays and we're going to grab some die cuts that you have maybe from your scrap bin and create some really amazing things. So I like to use a box or a splat box to contain my mess, and I always add in some paper toweling at the bottom to soak up some of the spray as I go. And I do like to wear gloves. I reuse these over and over and over again until they have holes in them and they're not useful anymore. So just think about that when you're getting ready to work with your sprays. So I've pulled out some die cuts here from my scrap bin. I did not have to make anything new. And in this case, I've got lots of negative texts. I've got some frames that have been cut out here. I've even got now some regular die cuts, words, letters, images, whatever you can come up with from your scrap bin. This is a really great way to breathe some new life into these scraps and to create like some 2-for-1s. So I've just got plain white cardstock, and then I've got a die cut here to start us off with. Now I'm not going to stick this down or anything like that. I'm just going to use this as the basically stencil template for this project. So I've got lots of different sprays here. I've got distress sprays, I've got metallic sprays, all sorts of different things. So we're going to give this a go and see what we can come up with. So for this one, I thought because it's got a black background on this piece here, why not use some gold? And that'll really make both of these stand out. Actually, let's even start with some of the orange, and then we'll add some gold on top of it. So this is Carved Pumpkin Distress Oxide. And I always like to spray about 6 to 12 inches away, so that way I can get a nice dusting without it saturating and overtaking the whole thing. Now you really don't notice much on the black, which is fine. We really wanted to get that white piece underneath, but because this is a 2-for-1, let's add some gold on top of that. All right, so now my top piece has all this really great gold on it. I'm going to lift this up. So this will dry. It's got a really cool gold hue to it now, which is fantastic. This is going to go right onto a card. It's going to look great. I already have some double-sided adhesive on the back from when I cut out the hello originally. So this is a great piece. And now I've got this piece underneath that has the orange and the gold on it, which is another great starter for a project. So you can do large, small, any kind of lettering will work. Both of these will even work. So in this case, I might end up with a little bit of overspray on the side. So if I did something like this, because this is where I want the congrats to show up, I would need to mask the rest of this off if I wanted to do it that way. Now, if I want to just have some spray around and make it look distressed like that, this will work. So a quick spray on there. Now I'm not going to get a 2-for-1 really on this because it's just going to be dark. It's going to have a little bit of shimmer to it though, because this was a shimmer spray. But now I've got the congrats sprayed underneath, and then I've got this outline around it. And that's kind of a cool look to get started. I can always cut this out as well and just use the sprayed sentiment with a little bit of white behind it. For other word examples, I've got a letter here. And then I also have this celebrate as well. So let's do the letter on this side. So this is kind of cool looking. It was die cut out from a piece that I had stamped earlier. So let's do some gold again on this one. When you do letters and words like this, you want to make sure that you get your spray all the way around. So that way when you lift your die cut off, you have a really good idea of the word or letter underneath it. All right, so now this is a cool S that again can be die cut out, like in an oval or something like that. It can be used as just a background and have other things added to it. And now I have this piece here that it's going to have this gold spray on it as well. And now I've got, again, this whole 2-for-1 thing going on. For something more delicate like this, we just want to make sure that we get that laying down as flat as we can. And then we want to spray maybe from higher up, so that way it kind of mists over the edge here. Give that just a second to dry. And then I can lift up my word here. And now this has got some burgundy on it, and it'll have just a little bit of shimmer. And then we've got a really cool piece here with the Celebrate right on it. Spraying with frames really is no different. So you're just going to put your cardstock underneath and your die cut frame on top. Now this one had already been even embossed, so this will have a really cool look on our 2-for-1 here. And this time I'm going to use some silver spray stain. So shake that up, and again spray it from a higher height so that way you get a nice mist without oversaturating. So now my frame mask here is going to have really cool silver texture as well. And then underneath, I've got a very subtle silver rectangle in the center here to work from. Your frames can be detailed or they can be simple. So like this one, I've got a really cool circular frame. And this die is designed to make this shape. So really this is the piece that you would be using. But if you wanted to give this a little bit more interest, like I'm going to use this oxide spray here. I'm going to get some cool spray on my front piece, but also get that really cool halftone look on the back too. So again, a cool 2-for-1, and I'll get 2 different looks from both of these cards. Of course, you can do an arrangement with just some regular die cut pieces. So in this case, I wanted to cut out some little floral sprigs, just some leaf fronds. And again, when you're using a die cut like this, you want to make sure that you get fairly good positive contact on your piece underneath. And if I wanted to fill up the whole thing, ideally, I would have more than just these few little pieces. But let's go ahead and spray these up. I'll start off with some of this oxide spray. And as you can see with the smaller pieces, they may move a little bit just because of the force of the mist. So if you can spray directly over the top of them, you'll have a better chance of getting them to stay in place. So I've got the orange on there, and let's add just a little bit of gold. And we'll go from there. So now I can lift these up. And these now have a kind of funky orange and gold effect over the green, which gives them a completely different look. And then I've got my imagery on the cardstock here. These guys can be used over and over and over again. So if I wanted to continue on making more of these, I could certainly do that with these same pieces. Of course, the more these get sprayed, the more the color is going to stick and you're not going to see so much of the color underneath. So if these continued to get sprayed, they would look a little bit more olivey green as we go, which might be more of a look that you want to have in the end. So don't be afraid to go ahead and then spray your pieces on top of that and create something completely new and cool looking. Perhaps I'm continuing on and I want to do some in purple. Don't be afraid to go ahead and spray over these in a completely different color. You're going to get a cool look, and whether these are usable or not, it doesn't really matter. If it's something that you want to be able to reuse them, then great. If not, then you don't have to worry about it. These can just be tossed away. But now that I put the purple on there, look at that gorgeous look that I got. It completely saturated through the paper. And now I have a beautiful purple and gold leaf frond. So hopefully these ideas have given you some confidence in using ink sprays with some of your leftover die cuts. As you can see, sometimes less is more. It really is stunning when you just do a single color and get a really cool outline. But sometimes more is more. And when you can create something like this that is multi-tonal and just pops off the page, you'll really be addicted to what ink sprays can do for your die cuts and projects. I hope you enjoyed this technique and you add it into your toolbox sometime soon. When you give it a try, share it out on Instagram and tag me at NicoleWattCreates. I always love to see what your creative mind is thinking. Thank you so much for spending a little time with me today. And until next time, happy crafting.